Could you lead us in this discussion?
So, I sent everybody some information.
Yes.
So about a year and a half ago, we were asked to look at this, and I've been sending some figures to everybody. We were asked to look at raising the cap on our current alternative veterans exemptions. And that's for wartime, combat zone, and disability. And people are really frustrated that federal government and the state government and the county government don't get things done. This is a chance that we have on the town level because of home rule. We are actually allowed to thank our veterans for what they have done. And when you look at the numbers, it comes out to a very small percentage. What I'm proposing is that we raise our exemption caps to what is called the state basic maximum exemption. And then it turns out if we double what we have now, that will equal the state basic maximum. We're now at the lowest level, which is called the reduced maximum cap. So if we were to double this, the figures, the total tax that it costs us right now is about $2,600, $2,700. That's out of a total town assessment of $162 million. So it's a tiny percentage. And the way this works is that if we choose to do this, everybody else in the town has to make up that shortfall. And that comes out to $2.14 a person. When I've spoken to people about it, they're like, $2.14, is that a month? I'm like, no, that's a year. That's what it would cost everybody else a year. And we have been granted the opportunity to do this through a state law. Again, everybody I've talked to has been very willing to support our veterans in that way. And my recommendations after going through all of these numbers for the last year and a half is that we do that and we increase our caps to the basic maximum. Some towns choose to use the increased maximums, which go up hugely, but that would be very difficult for us. But I see no reason why we can't do this small increase. It's a way of thanking our veterans and who put their life on the line so that we can have what we have here today.
And how does this compare with the majority of the other towns in the county?
Yeah, well, we're right in the middle. Actually, the figures that I had given everybody before don't really, now that I was given the figures by our auditors, and that changed the figures that I had before a little bit. So we'd still be right in the middle. Right now we're on the bottom. I found out that, for instance, some towns offer no alternative exemptions, like Delhi. I spoke to the county veterans administration. One of the reasons the main reason Delhi does not offer this at all is because they have so many properties that are off of the tax rolls already. A huge percentage of their properties are off of the tax rolls, and they've kind of had it with exemptions. That is not the case in Meredith. And even if 10 years from now, twice as many veterans were to move into town, we have 61 veterans, that would mean that people would have to pay an extra $4.28 a piece. So it's just, and I don't, I think it would be great if there was an influx of veterans. So it's a tricky issue. It just is such a small part of our total assessment, and it's something that we can do to thank veterans for their service. So that's where I'm coming from. That would be my recommendation after looking at all of this.
Just one more time, so from what you're saying, I'm gathering that we would move from the bottom part of the middle of caps to the top part of the middle of the caps. We're not gonna be on one extreme or the other.
Yeah, well, we're not, the basic maximum is still pretty low. Like, it allows wartime, the cap, we're now at the bottom, which is $6,000. And what this means is that a wartime veteran would not be taxed on $6,000 worth of their property, basically. That's what, and that comes out to, I mean, very little money actually, but it gives people a little something. But that cap, for instance, could go to $45,000, but the basic maximum that it's called, the basic maximum exemption is $12,000. So that would be, and this is what, when I spoke with the auditors, they're saying that most towns in the state now are going to the basic maximum exemption, as opposed to the increased maximum, which goes way, way up. We're not, I mean,
That's not what you're proposing.
that's not what I'm proposing.
You're essentially proposing
And-
doubling where we are.
And you
where
can
we
see
are.
on this chart, we're here, I'm proposing we go to here, not these.
And do you know, Rachel, I guess to John's point, do we know, does that put us at the top in Delaware County, or we're still below the top?
No, we're still below the top.
Okay.
We're still below the top. And I think more towns will be doing this. The veterans, the county Veterans Administration was, we were looking at this, and they're hoping that other towns will follow suit. They feel that veterans are just underappreciated, and again, we can do this, we're allowed to do this by law. I see no reason not to do it. It just makes, it's a very small amount of money that can make a big difference for people who have put their lives on the line. So that would be my recommendation.
So you have a motion, sounds like.
I would like to make a motion to adopt the basic maximum exemption caps for alternative veterans exemption for 2018.
Repeat that.
Good luck.
I would make a motion to adopt the basic maximum exemption caps for the alternative veterans exemption for 2018.
Not limited to 2018, as of,
Beginning.
Thank you, as of 2018, yes.
second.
And I can try to answer questions if
Okay.
anybody has.
The only thing that I have concerns with is, you know, it takes nothing away from what veterans have done for us. I just get concerned with fixed income people. We have a lot of them in Meredith, and unfortunately upstate New York is a lot of them. The impact on them, but now that the numbers are less meaningful, I mean, it's, you know, $24 a year, I can get behind it a little better than I originally thought we were going to be.
Yeah, I mean, for individual taxpayers, it's adding $2.14 on average.
Right.
An average would be like if your home is worth if your home is assessed at $150,000, somewhere around there. So if your home is assessed at less than that,
Right.
you'd pay like, you know, $1.50 more on your taxes. Also, there was talk of other property tax exemptions coming down the line, but when I looked into that, that just does not seem to be the case. I did a lot of looking into it, and unfortunately that was I spoke to the Feel Good Foundation. They said it happened for New Jersey. It is not happening for New York. I wish it was, but it's.
But that $2.40 is per 100,000 that your house is assessed.
No.
Why not? If your house is assessed at $500,000, your taxes are not gonna go up $2.40.
$2.14 was the average across
Of
the board.
100,000.
And the average assessment is about 150,000?
So if your assessment is more, you will pay more.
Your assessment is
If your
300,000,
assessment-
you figure on that going up an extra $4.28.
Exactly, so, yeah.
I had a couple of things. Back in 1985, the board approved the $10,000 level. And at that point, or from the list that I have of other towns, There are 5 towns that don't even participate in the program. There's one town that has a $4,050 level. 5 towns have 10,000. So that's like 11 out of 19. So 60% of all the towns in Delaware County are either at the 10,000 or below.
So this is a $6,000 in this law?
Right.
Well, that's for wartime veterans. And
Okay.
then the next one down is
4,000.
combat zone, so
Right? So
that's,
there's 10,000.
and then disability is 20,000.
Which wasn't even, which we're not even considering.
Actually,
It's
yeah.
the first A, it's the A and B levels.
No, C,
Yeah.
C, we are, C, and the numbers that I sent to you, that would, on this chart, the basic maximums, we're looking at this line right here. So in the law that I sent you, those 3 numbers are all changed to these numbers, and that combined, that's what will cost each person in town an average of $2.14.
So we're actually raising disability to 40,000.
Yes, we are, and with that raise, it only makes a difference of $2.14 per person in town, per parcel. That includes the $40,000
Right, the first line is our baseline, which is the one that we actually.
currently, we
Right.
are currently
We're currently
at
at.
this line.
Yep.
Yep,
And we're raising it to a 3rd line as opposed to something right somewhere in the middle, the 9 and the 6 and the 30.
that's right, the
Do we have
basic,
any that are at that 40,000 level? Disability?
I do not know,
Okay.
I do not know.
So the 61 are within the 12 and the 8.
Say that again?
And the 61 are between the 12 and the 8. 12,000 and the 8,000 to go to 20,000.
I'm sorry, what?
The 61 veterans.
Oh, yes,
Are
the
they
61
considered within
veterans, that's right,
the
that's
20,000?
right, that's right. And again, even in the event that we added lots of veterans, we're offering such a small exemption anyway, that it's not like it makes a big difference. And basically, it's a way of acknowledging and appreciating what people have done.
I am not taking anything away from veterans at all.
Mhm.
But my point is that at the current levels, 60% of the towns are still participating at $10,000 or less. And some not at all, like you said in the instance of Delhi. So-
And I'm now questioning those
No,
initial
no.
figures because I don't know exactly what they were, even though I handed them out to everybody.
Yeah.
But it was interesting getting the actual figures from the auditors and being able to work with those figures, so that let me switch things around, so.
Okay, one more point,
Mhm.
Rachel. As I just noticed in the 85 law,
Mhm.
this has to be tied to the equalization rate.
Yes. But our equalization rate went up to 100%,
Yes,
so.
but I'm just saying it might someday drop down to 80%, or every once in a while it'll bounce up to 106 or something. We've done all those before.
Yes,
So long as it's tied to, it's clearly specified that.
actually, I believe it is in the end of each, yes, at the end, in A, B, and C, at the end of each of those sections, it is tied to the latest state equalization rate for the town of Meredith, so that is specified. Also, at first I couldn't figure out how to rewrite the law because the first line of our old law was, I think they made a mistake. It says, in the purpose of this law is to reduce the maximum veterans exemption allowable pursuant to blah, blah, blah. I think what they meant was the reduced
I read that earlier
maximum.
and said,
Yes, I know, yes.
If we're gonna revise the law, if we agree, then we'll have to fix that.
Yes, yes, so I rewrote the purpose with the definition, and we don't have to pay anybody to rewrite the law, because they figure out how to do
You
it.
can plug in new numbers, but
Yep,
we still have to go through that process, right? For a
oh,
law.
The law is the law.
Yeah. That's
And you also have there supersedes the law of 1985.
that, we can take that language, yep, Yeah, we can take that. Actually, I put a repealer in, I didn't email that to everybody, I added a repealer, and I also added a section 2 of definitions, gesundheit, and I
Bless you.
will send
Thank you,
that
bless
to
you.
you.
I believe the board needs to have it 11 days before, in hand, 11 days before
Okay,
I
passage.
believe you're right.
yep,
And do we have to have a public hearing?
we do have to have a public hearing, we have to do all of that, yep.
So first we gotta agree that that's what we wanna do.
Mhm.
So a motion and a second was made.
Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Voice vote. Is this should be a resolution as well, since this involves money, so do you, motion by resolution to adopt? Does that sound okay? Just,
Yes, yep.
so it's a roll call vote.
I guess it would be to adopt a local law in relation to the maximum exemption allowable for the
To
alternative.
revise a local law or adopt?
Adopt. And then that will replace the other law, but that will be all in there.
Okay. Wayne,
Yes.
Bill,
No.
Rachel,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Resolution